Hello, everyone. Welcome to English in Advance. I'm your host, Jessica, and I am so incredibly happy that you've chosen to spend some time with me. Today, we're going to talk about something that I know is on the mind of so many of you. It's that big, exciting, and sometimes a little scary step, moving from just understanding English to actually speaking it. Speaking it easily, speaking it naturally, and most importantly, speaking it with confidence. I want you to think about this for a moment. You've probably spent months, maybe even years, learning English. You can read articles, you can understand movies, perhaps with subtitles, and you can definitely follow along with this podcast right now. That is a huge achievement, and you should be incredibly proud of that. But there's often a gap, isn't there? A space between what you can understand with your ears and what you can produce with your mouth. It can feel like standing on one side of a river. You can see the other side perfectly clearly. That's the side where you're fluent and confident. But you're not sure how to build the bridge to get there. Maybe you feel shy. When you try to speak, the words get stuck in your throat. You translate every single sentence in your head from your native language, and by the time you're ready to say it, the conversation has already moved on. Or perhaps you're afraid of making mistakes. What if I use the wrong word? What if my grammar is incorrect? What if people laugh at my accent? Let me tell you something right now, from the bottom of my heart. Those feelings are completely normal. Every single person who has ever learned a new language has felt that way. I have felt that way. But I'm here to tell you that the bridge to fluency isn't as complicated as it seems. It's built not with perfection, but with practice, patience, and a little bit of courage. The demo script you heard at the beginning of this episode perfectly captures this feeling. It talks about fear holding us back, about stumbling and getting back up. The most powerful line for me is this: mistakes are not the enemy. Silence is. If you take only one thing away from our time together today, let it be that. Your goal is not to speak perfect English. Your goal is to communicate, to connect, to express yourself. And that journey begins not when you are perfect, but when you decide to stop being silent. So today, we are going to explore the practical, simple, and even fun ways you can start building that bridge to fluent, natural speech. We'll focus on how powerful listening is, not just as a way to receive information, but as the fundamental building block for speaking. Think about how a baby learns to talk. They don't study grammar books. They listen. For months and months, they just absorb the sounds, the rhythms, the melodies of the language around them. And then, one day, they start to make sounds, then words, then sentences. You've already done the hard work of learning the basics. Now it's time to adopt that same natural approach. We're going to listen, we're going to imitate, and we are going to speak. So take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin this journey together. Let's start with the foundation itself, listening. I mean, really, truly listening. We call this active listening. Often when we listen to something in a foreign language, our brain is in a passive mode. We're just trying to survive, to catch the main idea. But to improve your speaking, you need to switch your brain into active mode. This means you're not just hearing the words, you're paying attention to how the words are said. You're noticing the music of the language. Where does the speaker's voice go up? Where does it go down? This is called intonation. Which words do they stress or emphasize? Where do they pause? This is the rhythm and stress. This might sound complicated, but it's something you already do naturally in your own language. Let's try a very simple exercise right now. I'm going to say a sentence, and I want you to just close your eyes and listen to the music of it. Don't worry about the meaning of the words for a second. Just listen to the sound. Ready? The sentence is, I've never seen such a beautiful sunset before. Let's do it again. Listen to the melody. I've never seen such a beautiful sunset before. Did you hear that? My voice went up on never and beautiful and sunset, and it went down at the very end on before. This is the natural music of English. When you start listening for this music, you begin to internalize it, and when you internalize it, you can start to reproduce it. This is what makes your speech sound natural and not robotic. Let's try another one. This time, it's a question. Are you coming to the party on Saturday night? Listen again to the music. Are you coming to the party on Saturday night? Notice how my voice goes up at the end, night. This is very common for yes or no questions in English. The melody tells the listener that you are asking something. It's a signal. When you start paying attention to these signals in what you hear, you'll slowly but surely begin to use them in your own speech. So here is your first practical task. The next time you are listening to anything in English, a podcast like this one, a song, a scene from a TV show, I want you to choose just 1 or 2 sentences. Listen to them 3 or 4 times. First, listen for the general meaning. Second, listen for the individual words you recognize. Third, and this is the most important step, listen only for the music. Hum the sentence if you have to, like you would hum a song. Try to copy that melody. This simple act of active, focused listening will train your ear in a completely new way and is the first crucial step to sounding more natural when you speak. Now that we've tuned our ears to the music of English, let's talk about the next step, which is perhaps the one that causes the most fear. Actually producing the sounds yourself. The idea of speaking can be so intimidating. But what if I told you that you could practice speaking for hours without ever feeling judged, without ever feeling nervous? How? By speaking to the most patient, understanding, and supportive conversation partner you will ever have, yourself. I know it might feel silly at first. Talking to yourself might be something you think of as a bit strange. But for a language learner, it is one of the most powerful tools you have. It's a completely safe space. There are no mistakes because there is no one to judge you. It's like a rehearsal for the real thing. When actors prepare for a play, they practice their lines alone again and again until the words feel natural in their mouths. You can do the same thing. So what do you talk about? Anything and everything. The key is to connect the language to your immediate reality. This makes it more memorable and practical. Let's try it right now. I want you to look around the room you are in. Just look. Now try to describe one thing you see out loud. It doesn't have to be a perfect sentence. Just say the words. For example, I'm in my studio right now. I could say, I see a big microphone. The microphone is black. There's a cup of coffee on my desk. The coffee is getting cold. Your turn. Pick an object. Maybe it's a window. You could say, there is a window. It is sunny outside. I see a green tree. Say it out loud. Feel the words in your mouth. Did it feel strange? Probably a little. But did you do it? Yes. And that is a victory. Let's take this a step further. You can become the narrator of your own life. As you go about your day, describe what you are doing as you are doing it. It's like being the star of your own movie and providing the commentary. For example, in the morning as you're making breakfast, you can say, "Okay, now I am opening the fridge. I am taking out the milk and the eggs. I need 2 eggs. I'm going to crack the eggs into a bowl. Now I will whisk the eggs with a fork." This might seem incredibly simple, but you are doing something profound. You are building a direct connection between an action and the English words for that action. You are bypassing the need to translate from your native language. You are starting to think in English, and you are getting your mouth, your tongue, and your lips used to forming English sounds. Here's a challenge for you. Tomorrow morning, for just 5 minutes, I want you to be the narrator of your morning routine. From the moment you get out of bed to the moment you finish your breakfast, talk your way through it. I am stretching my arms. I am walking to the bathroom. I am brushing my teeth. Don't worry if you don't know a word, you can describe it. If you don't know the word kettle, you can say, "I am putting water in the thing that boils water." The goal is not perfection. The goal is communication, even if it's just with yourself. This daily habit, even for a few minutes, will build your confidence like nothing else. It's your private language gym where you can build your speaking muscles. Let's build on this idea of speaking out loud alone. One of the most effective techniques for improving your pronunciation and fluency is called shadowing. It sounds mysterious, but it's very simple. Shadowing means you listen to a native speaker and you repeat what they say as they are saying it, or more accurately, just a fraction of a second after them. You are their shadow. Why is this so powerful? Because you are not just practicing words, you are practicing everything. You are copying the rhythm, the intonation, the stress, the pauses, the way words link together. You are essentially trying on a native accent for a few moments. It trains your mouth to move in new ways and your ear to catch the subtle flow of the language. The best materials for shadowing are audio clips where the speech is clear and not too fast, podcasts, audiobooks, and even scenes from TV shows can be great. The key is to choose a short segment, maybe 15 to 30 seconds long. Your goal is not to understand every word perfectly at first. Your goal is to match the sounds. Let's try a very short and simple shadowing exercise right now. I am going to say a sentence, and I want you to try and say it with me or just after me. Try to copy my exact pronunciation and melody. We'll do it a few times. Ready? The sentence is, "The weather is really lovely today." Let's try it. I'll say it, and you shadow me. The weather is really lovely today. Good. Let's do it again. A little faster this time, more natural. The weather is really lovely today. How did that feel? Maybe a bit difficult to keep up. That's normal. Let's break it down. Notice how weather is kind of links together. Weather is. And how I stress the first part of lovely, lovely, and today, today. This is the detail that shadowing helps you capture. Let's try another sentence. I think we should go for a walk in the park. Ready to shadow? Let's go. I think we should go for a walk in the park. Again. I think we should go for a walk in the park. Notice the connected speech here. Walk in becomes walkin'. In the can sound like intha. These are the little secrets to sounding fluent that you can only learn by listening carefully and imitating. Here is your practical shadowing task. Find a short audio clip, maybe from a news report for learners or a simple podcast. Choose just 1 or 2 sentences. First, listen to them a few times. Then, try to shadow the speaker. Do it 5, 6, 10 times. You might even want to record yourself on your phone and compare your version to the original. You will be amazed at what you notice. At first, you might feel like you're just making noise, but soon your brain and your mouth will start to sync up. You'll be matching the rhythm, the flow, the music. Shadowing is an intense workout for your mouth, and it's one of the fastest ways to improve your pronunciation and natural flow. Just a few minutes of shadowing each day can lead to incredible results. So we've talked about active listening and practicing speaking alone. Now let's address one of the biggest mental blocks for many learners: the pressure to use big, impressive, complex words. Many students believe that to sound fluent, they need a huge vocabulary full of advanced terms. This belief can be paralyzing. You search for the perfect word, and in that process, you lose your fluency, you hesitate, and your confidence drops. I want to free you from that pressure right now. Fluency is not about using big words. It is about communicating your ideas clearly and effectively. The most fluent and natural speakers, even native speakers, use simple, common words for most of their communication. The secret is not the complexity of the words you use, but how well you use the words you already know. Think about it like building with LEGO bricks. You don't need hundreds of special, unique pieces to build something amazing. With a good collection of simple, standard bricks, you can build a house, a car, a spaceship. The same is true for language. Your B1 level vocabulary is a fantastic set of building blocks. You just need to get comfortable and creative with how you put them together. Let's take an example. Imagine you want to say that a movie was very exciting and had a lot of unexpected events. You might search your brain for a word like unpredictable or tumultuous. But what if you can't remember those words? You get stuck. Instead, you can use simpler words you definitely know. You could say, "The movie was so exciting. I never knew what was going to happen next. So many things changed all the time. I was on the edge of my seat." Do you see? The second version uses very simple words: exciting, happen, next, changed, time. But it communicates the exact same feeling, perhaps even more effectively and naturally. It's clear, it's expressive, and it's fluent. Let's do a little practice. I'm going to give you a situation with a more advanced word, and I want you to think about how you could express the same idea using simpler words. You can even pause the podcast and say your idea out loud. Situation 1. Your friend asks you how your exam was. You thought it was incredibly difficult. The advanced word is arduous. How could you say this simply? You could say something like, "Oh, it was so hard. The questions were really long, and I had to think for a long time. I feel very tired now." Simple, clear, and perfectly communicative. Situation 2. You see a painting that you think is beautiful. The advanced word is exquisite. How could you describe it simply? You could say, "Wow, that painting is amazing. I love the colors. It makes me feel so happy and calm when I look at it." Again, you're not just stating a fact. You're sharing your feelings, which is the heart of communication. The lesson here is to trust the vocabulary you have. Don't let the search for the perfect word stop you from speaking. Embrace simplicity. Focus on getting your message across. As your English journey continues, your vocabulary will naturally grow. New words will come. But for now, become a master of the words you already know. Use them, combine them, play with them. Fluency is waiting for you in the simple sentences, not in the complex ones you haven't learned yet. So give yourself permission to be simple. It's not a weakness, it's a strategy for confident and effective communication. We've been talking a lot about what comes out of your mouth, but the journey to fluent speech actually starts much earlier. It starts inside your head. One of the biggest obstacles to speaking fluently is the habit of mental translation. You think of what you want to say in your native language, you translate it word for word into English, and then you try to speak it. This process is slow, inefficient, and often leads to unnatural-sounding sentences because grammar and sentence structures are different across languages. The key to unlocking fluency is to reduce this translation step and eventually eliminate it. The goal is to learn to think in English. This sounds like a huge, impossible task, but it's a skill you can build gradually, starting with very small, manageable steps. You don't have to suddenly start thinking about complex philosophical ideas in English. You start with a single word. The first step is to start labeling your world in English. This is something you can do anytime, anywhere, and it requires no special equipment, just your brain and your eyes. As you go about your day, mentally name the objects you see in English. Don't say the word in your native language first. Look at the object and retrieve the English word directly. Let's practice this right now. I want you to look around you and mentally label 5 things in English. Go ahead. Maybe you thought table, chair, lamp, book, pen. Did you notice that little moment of connection? You saw the object and your brain produced the English word. That is the beginning of thinking in English. It's a tiny little pathway you're creating in your brain, a direct link between a concept and its English name. The more you do this, the stronger and faster that pathway becomes. Once you are comfortable with single words, you can move on to simple phrases or sentences. Think of them as situational phrases. For example, every time you feel hungry, instead of thinking about it in your native language, try to have the thought in English, I'm hungry, or I could eat something. When you feel tired, I'm tired, or I need to rest. When you look at the weather, it's a beautiful day, or it's starting to rain. These are common, repetitive thoughts that we have every day. By consciously choosing to have these small thoughts in English, you are building the habit. You are training your brain to use English as its default operating system for certain situations. It's like changing a small setting on your computer. At first, it feels different, but soon you get used to it. Let's try a guided practice. I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Just relax and listen to my voice. I am going to describe a scene, and I want you to create the picture in your mind. As you picture it, try to use English words and phrases to label what you are seeing in your imagination. Imagine you are standing on a beach. What do you see? Don't translate. Just think the English words. Maybe you see the blue ocean, the white waves, the yellow sand. What can you hear? Maybe the sound of the waves, the crying of seagulls. What do you feel? You feel the warm sun on your skin. You feel the gentle wind in your hair. Now imagine you start to walk. You can think to yourself, I am walking on the sand. My feet are sinking into the sand. This feels nice. You can open your eyes now. How was that? This kind of visualization exercise is a powerful way to practice thinking in English in a relaxed, controlled environment. You are connecting images, feelings, and actions directly to English words. The journey from translating to thinking in English is a gradual one. Be patient with yourself. Start with single words. Move on to short, common phrases. Narrate your own actions in your head. Do these small visualization exercises. Over time, you will find that the voice in your head starts to speak English more and more often, without you even trying. And when your thoughts are in English, the words will flow from your mouth much more smoothly, naturally, and fluently. To truly accelerate your journey to fluency, you need to make English a part of your daily life, not just something you study for an hour a day. This is the concept of immersion. Now, you don't have to move to an English-speaking country to immerse yourself in the language. You can create an English-speaking world right where you are, using the tools and technology you already have. The goal is to increase your exposure to English in enjoyable and natural ways, so that your brain is constantly absorbing the language, even when you're not actively studying. Let's start with something most of us love: movies and TV shows. Watching content in English is a fantastic way to improve your listening skills and learn new vocabulary in context. But how you watch is very important. If you just watch with subtitles in your native language, your brain will take the easy route and you won't get the full benefit. Here is a more effective method. Let's call it the layered approach. First, choose a short scene from a movie or a TV show you enjoy, maybe just 5 minutes long. The first time you watch it, use subtitles in your own language. This is to make sure you understand the plot and what is happening. The second time, watch the same scene, but this time with English subtitles. Now your brain can connect the sounds you are hearing with the words on the screen. You might notice interesting new words or phrases. Pause and write them down if you like. The third time, watch the scene again, but this time with no subtitles at all. This is the real listening practice. You will be surprised at how much more you understand now that you have the context and have seen the key vocabulary. This layered approach turns passive watching into an active learning experience. Next, let's talk about music. Listening to English songs is a fun way to learn the rhythm and flow of the language. But don't just listen. Engage with the lyrics. Find the lyrics to a song you like online. Read them as you listen to the song. This will help you catch words you might have misheard. Then, try to sing along. Singing is a wonderful and often overlooked form of speaking practice. When you sing, you are forced to copy the singer's pronunciation, their rhythm, and the way they link words together. You're practicing connected speech without even realizing it. Plus, it's fun, and it helps the words and phrases stick in your memory. You don't have to be a great singer. Just sing in the shower or in your car. Nobody has to hear you. Beyond movies and music, make English a part of your information diet. Do you like to read the news? Try reading one article a day from a news website for learners, like BBC Learning English or VOA Learning English. The language is simplified, and they often explain difficult vocabulary. Do you have a hobby like cooking, gardening, or video games? Start watching YouTube videos or reading blogs about your hobby in English. When you are learning about a topic you are genuinely interested in, it doesn't feel like studying. You are so focused on the content that you absorb the language almost by accident. Finally, a powerful and often underestimated immersion technique is reading out loud. We've discussed talking to yourself, but reading a prepared text out loud is a different kind of practice. It helps connect the visual representation of a word, how it's spelled, with its auditory representation, how it sounds. It builds muscle memory in your mouth for forming English words and sentences correctly. Let's do a short reading practice right now. I am going to read a short paragraph. First, just listen. Then I will read it again, sentence by sentence, and I want you to repeat each sentence out loud after me. Here is the paragraph. The small village was quiet and peaceful. A narrow river flowed gently through the center of the town. On the weekends, families would often have picnics on the green grass by the riverbank. They enjoyed the simple pleasure of being together in nature. Now, let's do it sentence by sentence. Repeat after me. The small village was quiet and peaceful. A narrow river flowed gently through the center of the town. On the weekends, families would often have picnics on the green grass by the riverbank. They enjoyed the simple pleasure of being together in nature. Great job! Making reading aloud a regular habit, even for 5 minutes a day, can dramatically improve your pronunciation, your confidence, and the overall rhythm of your speech. By weaving English into your hobbies and daily routines in these ways, you create an environment of constant, low-pressure learning. Your brain will thank you for it, and your speaking skills will flourish. So far, we have focused on building a strong foundation on your own through listening, speaking to yourself, and immersing yourself in English. These are all crucial, safe ways to build confidence. But eventually, to become a truly fluent speaker, you have to take what I call the social leap. You need to practice with other people. This is often the scariest step, but it is also the most rewarding. Communication is a two-way street, and only by engaging in real conversations can you learn to navigate it effectively. The biggest fear, of course, is making a mistake or not being able to understand the other person. To combat this fear, it's helpful to equip yourself with what I call conversation survival phrases. These are simple phrases that can help you manage the conversation when you feel lost. Knowing them will make you feel much more in control and less anxious. Let's learn a few right now. If you don't understand what someone said, you don't have to panic and stay silent. You can say, "I'm sorry, could you please repeat that?" Or more informally, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." If you understood the words but not the meaning, you can ask, "What does the word mean?" Or, "I'm not sure I understand. Could you explain it in a different way?" These phrases are not a sign of weakness. They are a sign of an active, engaged learner. They show the other person that you want to understand, and most people will be very happy to help you. Another useful set of phrases is for when you are speaking and you can't find the right word. Instead of pausing uncomfortably, you can say, "I can't remember the word in English, but it's a thing you use for," and then describe it. Or you can ask, "How do you say in English?" Using these phrases keeps the conversation going and turns a moment of difficulty into a learning opportunity. Now, where do you find people to practice with? In today's world, there are more opportunities than ever. You can look for language exchange apps on your phone, like Tandem or HelloTalk. On these apps, you can find native English speakers who want to learn your native language. You can help them, and they can help you. You could start with text messages, then move to voice messages, and eventually to short calls. This allows you to build your confidence step by step. You can also look for online communities or groups. There are many groups on social media or websites like Meetup for English learners who just want to get together online and practice speaking in a friendly, supportive environment. Speaking with other learners can be very helpful because you all share the same goal and understand each other's challenges. To make this more practical, let's try a role-playing exercise. This will help you practice a real-life conversation in a safe space. I will play the part of a shop assistant in a clothing store and you will be the customer. I will say my line, then I will give you a suggestion for your line, and then I will leave a pause for you to say your line out loud. Ready? Let's begin. Me, shop assistant. Hello there, can I help you with anything today? Your turn. You can say, yes, please. I'm looking for a new sweater. Me. Okay, great. We have some lovely new sweaters over here. What size are you looking for? Your turn. You can say, I think I'm a medium. Me. A medium. Let's see. How about this blue one? It's very popular. Your turn. You can ask, can I try it on? Me. Of course. The fitting rooms are just over there, on the left. Your turn. You can say thank you so much. Me. You're very welcome. How did that feel? By practicing simple, everyday conversations like this, you are preparing yourself for the real world. You are building scripts in your mind that you can use when you are in a similar situation. You can do this by yourself, imagining both sides of the conversation, or with a language partner. The social leap is all about taking small, manageable steps. Start with low-pressure situations. Arm yourself with survival phrases. And remember, every conversation, no matter how short or simple, is a success. It's one more step on that bridge to fluency. When we talk about speaking fluently, it's easy to get worried about grammar. Many learners feel that they need to know every single grammar rule perfectly before they can speak. This is a trap. It leads to what we call analysis paralysis, where you think so much about the rules that you become too afraid to say anything at all. I want to suggest a different approach. Think of grammar not as a set of rules to be memorized, but as the structure that holds language together. You don't need to be an architect to live in a house, and you don't need to be a grammarian to speak a language. You just need to understand the basic structure so you can communicate your ideas clearly. For B1 learners, the goal is not perfect grammar. It's effective communication. It's about being understood. Instead of trying to learn hundreds of rules, it's much more effective to focus on understanding a few key grammatical structures in context. This means seeing how they are used in real sentences and stories, rather than just in a textbook. Let's take a common area of confusion for many learners, the difference between the past simple and the present perfect. The rules can seem complicated, but let's look at them through a simple story. Listen to this short story about my friend, Sarah. Last weekend, Sarah decided she wanted to bake a cake. She went to the store on Saturday and bought flour, sugar, and chocolate. She spent the whole afternoon in the kitchen. The cake she made was delicious. Sarah loves baking. She has baked many cakes in her life. She has even won a local baking competition once. Because she has practiced so much, she is now very good at it. Now let's look at the grammar in this story. When I was talking about a specific finished time in the past, last weekend, I used the past simple. She decided, she went, she bought. These actions are finished. They happened on Saturday. But when I started talking about her experience in general, her life up until now, I switched to the present perfect. She has baked many cakes. She has even won a competition. We don't know exactly when she won the competition. It's not important. What's important is the connection to the present. Her past experience makes her a good baker now. So the past simple is like a photograph of a single, finished moment in the past. The present perfect is like a bridge connecting the past to the present. Let's do a little practice to make this clearer. I will give you the beginning of a sentence and I want you to complete it out loud, thinking about whether it's a finished past action or a life experience. First sentence, yesterday You probably use the past simple, right? Yesterday I went to work, or yesterday I watched a movie, because yesterday is a specific finished time. Now, try this one. In my life, I have never... Here, you would use the present perfect. In my life, I have never been to Japan. Or, I have never eaten sushi. You are talking about your life experience up to this moment. By learning grammar in this contextual, story-based way, it becomes more intuitive and less like a math problem. You start to develop a feel for what sounds right, just like you have in your native language. So my advice is this: don't get stuck in grammar books. Instead, pay attention to the grammar you see and hear in the English content you consume. When you notice a structure, ask yourself, why did the speaker use this tense? What does it tell me about the timing of the action? This curious, investigative approach will teach you grammar more deeply and naturally than memorizing rules ever could. Finally, let's talk about growing your personal word bank, your vocabulary. Just like with grammar, the goal is not to memorize thousands of random words from a list. The most effective way to learn new vocabulary is to learn it in context and to make it personal. A word is much more likely to stick in your memory if you have a connection to it. One of the best techniques for this is to stop thinking about single words and start thinking about chunks of language. Chunks are groups of words that naturally go together. Native speakers use these chunks all the time without thinking. For example, we don't just learn the word mistake. We learn the chunk make a mistake. We don't say do a mistake. Similarly, we say take a photo, not make a photo. We talk about heavy rain, not strong rain. When you learn words in these chunks or collocations, you are learning more than just the word's meaning. You are learning how to use it correctly in a sentence. This makes your speech sound much more natural and fluent. So, when you encounter a new word, don't just write down the word itself. Write down the whole phrase or sentence you found it in. For example, if you read the sentence, "He was running late, so he had to catch a bus," don't just write catch. Write catch a bus. This is the chunk. Another powerful strategy is to create a personalized vocabulary notebook. But this isn't just a list of words and translations. For each new word or chunk you want to learn, I want you to create an entry with 4 parts. First, the word or chunk itself. For example, to run out of something. Second, a simple definition in English. For example, to use all of something so there is none left. Third, and this is the most important part, write an example sentence that is true for your life. This is what makes it personal and memorable. For our example, you could write, "This morning I wanted to make coffee, but I ran out of milk." Fourth, if you are a visual person, draw a tiny, simple picture that represents the word. For run out of milk, you could draw an empty milk carton. This process forces you to engage with the word on a deeper level. You have to understand it, apply it to your own life, and even visualize it. A word learned in this way is much more likely to become part of your active vocabulary, the words you can actually use when you speak. Let's do a quick practice. I'm going to teach you a useful phrasal verb, to look forward to something. This means you are excited about something that is going to happen in the future. Now, I want you to create a true sentence for yourself using this chunk. What is something you are excited about? A holiday? Seeing a friend? The weekend? Complete this sentence out loud. I am really looking forward to... Maybe you said, I am really looking forward to my birthday. Or, I am looking forward to the new movie coming out this Friday. Because you have connected this phrase to a real feeling and a real event in your own life, you are much more likely to remember it and use it. So be a vocabulary detective. When you read or listen, look for interesting chunks and phrases. When you find one, don't just collect it. Connect with it. Make it your own. Building a rich, usable vocabulary is a slow and steady process. But by focusing on chunks and making it personal, you will be learning words that you can actually use to express yourself confidently and naturally. As we come towards the end of our time together today, I want to circle back to where we started, the feeling of fear and the importance of mindset. We've talked about so many practical techniques: active listening, shadowing, thinking in English, immersion, role-playing, and they are all incredibly effective. But none of them will work if you are not kind to yourself. Learning a new language is a marathon, not a sprint. There will be days when you feel like you are flying, when the words come easily and you have a great conversation. And there will be days when you feel stuck, when you can't find the words and you feel frustrated. On those difficult days, it is so important that you don't criticize yourself. That voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough," or "You'll never be fluent," is not your friend. You need to learn to replace it with a kinder, more encouraging voice. Instead of saying, "I made so many mistakes today," try saying, "I practiced speaking today and I learned from my mistakes." Instead of, "My progress is so slow," try, "Every single day I am getting a little bit better than I was yesterday." This shift in perspective is not just about feeling good, it's about building resilience. Resilience is what keeps you going when things get tough. One of the best ways to build this positive mindset is to actively celebrate your small victories. We often get so focused on the big goal of fluency that we forget to acknowledge the progress we are making along the way. Did you understand a joke in an English TV show? That's a victory. Celebrate it. Did you use a new word you learned in a conversation? That's a huge win. Pat yourself on the back. Did you speak for 1 minute without translating in your head? Amazing. Take a moment to feel proud of yourself. These small wins are the fuel for your motivation. They prove to you that you are moving forward. I suggest keeping a success journal. Every evening, write down just one small English success you had that day. It could be anything. Reading your journal at the end of the week will show you just how far you have come. It will be concrete proof that your hard work is paying off. Remember the person you were a year ago, or even a month ago. You know more English now than you did then. You have already come so far. You have already achieved so much. The journey of learning a language is not a straight line to the top. It has ups and downs, plateaus and breakthroughs. It's a messy, beautiful human process. Embrace the mess. Be patient with the process. And above all, be kind to the person at the center of it all. You. You are doing something incredible. You are building a bridge between cultures. You are opening your mind to new ways of thinking. You are giving yourself the gift of connection with millions of people around the world. So when you feel discouraged, remember why you started. Hold on to that vision of yourself speaking English confidently, traveling, making new friends, achieving your career goals. That vision is not just a dream. It is your destination. And every word you listen to, every sentence you speak, is a step that brings you closer to it. So what happens now? You've listened to this podcast, you've learned some new strategies, and hopefully you're feeling inspired and motivated. But inspiration is temporary. Action is what creates results. Your journey to speaking English fluently and naturally is built on the small actions you take every single day. The bridge to confidence isn't built in a day. It's built one small plank at a time. Today, we've laid out the blueprint. We talked about shifting your mindset from fearing mistakes to embracing them as learning opportunities. We discovered the power of active listening and shadowing to tune your ear and your mouth to the music of English. We practice speaking to ourselves to build confidence in a safe space and learn the freedom of using simple words to communicate complex ideas. We explored how to start thinking in English, how to create an immersive environment wherever you are, and how to take that brave social leap to practice with others. We've seen how to learn grammar and vocabulary in a natural, contextual, and personal way. And most importantly, we've reminded ourselves to be patient and kind throughout this incredible journey. Now it's your turn. I don't want you to feel overwhelmed and try to do everything at once. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, I want you to choose just one thing. One small, manageable action from our conversation today that you can start doing consistently. Maybe you will commit to narrating your morning routine for 5 minutes every day. Maybe you will choose one song this week to learn the lyrics to and sing along with. Perhaps you will download a language exchange app and just say hello to one person. Or maybe your goal will simply be to write down one small English success in a journal every night. Whatever you choose, make it small enough that you can't say no. Consistency is so much more powerful than intensity. 10 minutes of practice every day is 1,000,000 times better than 2 hours once a month. It's the daily habit that rewires your brain and builds real, lasting skill. Remember, learning to speak English is not just about memorizing words and rules. It's about finding your voice. It's about having the courage to share your ideas, your stories, and your personality with the world in a new language. You have so much to say, and the world is waiting to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me today on English in Advance. It has been a true pleasure to share these ideas with you. I hope you feel empowered and ready to take the next step. Your journey to fluency is happening right now, with every word you listen to and every sentence you dare to speak. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Start today. Start now. If you found this podcast helpful and want to continue learning with me, please make sure you subscribe to English in Advance on whatever platform you're using. And if you know someone else who is on this same journey, please share this episode with them. Let's build a community of learners who support and encourage one another. Until next time, keep listening, keep practicing, and keep speaking. I'm your host, Jessica, and I am truly, genuinely cheering for you every step of the way. Goodbye for now.